Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we're reading the Bhagavad Gita. We're on chapter 13, text 22. Parusa Prakriti Stu Hai Puti Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sango Saya Sad Asad Yoni Jan Masu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil amongst various species. This verse is very important for understanding of how the living entities transmigrate from one body to another. It is explained in the second chapter that the living entity is transmigrating from one body to another just as one changes dress. This change of dress is due to his attachment to material existence. As long as he is captivated by false manifestation, he has to continue transmigrating from one body to another. Due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is put into such undesirable circumstances. Under the influence of material desire, the entity is born sometimes as a demigod, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a beast, as a bird, as a worm, as an aquatic, as a saintly man, as a bug. This is going on. And in all cases, the living entity thinks himself to be the master of his circumstances, yet he is under the influence of material nature. How he is put into such different bodies is explained here. It is due to the association with the different modes of nature. One has to rise, therefore, above the three modes of nature and become situated in the transcendental position. That is called Krishna consciousness. Unless one is situated in Krishna consciousness, his material consciousness will oblige him to transfer from one body to another because he has material desires since time immemorial. But he has to change that conception. That change can be effected only by hearing from authoritative sources. The best example is here. Arjuna is hearing the science of God from Krishna. The living entity, if he submits to this hearing process, will lose his long-cherished desire to dominate material nature. And gradually and proportionately, as he reduces his long desire to dominate, he comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. In a Vedic mantra, it is said that as he becomes learned in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he proportionately relishes his eternal blissful life. Text 23. Upadrasta Umanta Cha Bharta Bhokta Mahasarva Paramatmeti Kapi Ektu Dehe Smin Parusha Para. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. It is stated here that the super soul, who is always with the individual soul, is the representation of the Supreme Lord. He is not an ordinary living entity. Because the monist philosophers take the knower of the body to be one, they think there is no difference between the super soul and the individual soul. To clarify this, the Lord says he is the representation of Paramatma in every body. He is different from the individual soul. He is para, transcendental. The individual soul enjoys the activities of a particular field, but the super soul is present not as finite enjoyer, nor as one taking part in bodily activities, but as the witness, overseer, permitter, and supreme enjoyer. His name is Paramatma, not Atma. and he is transcendental. He is distinctly clear that Atma and Paramatma are different. The supersoul, the Paramatma, has legs and hands everywhere, but the individual soul does not. And because he is the Supreme Lord, he is present within to sanction the individual soul desiring material enjoyment. Without the sanction of the Supreme Soul, the individual soul cannot do anything. The individual is bhakta, or the sustained, and he is bhukta, or the maintainer. These are innumerable living entities, and he is staying in them as a friend. The fact is that individual living entities are eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and both of them are very intimately related as friends. But the living entity has the tendency to reject the sanction of the Supreme Lord and act independently in an attempt to dominate the Supreme Nature. And because he has this tendency, he is called the marginal energy of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord. The living entity can be situated either in the material energy or the spiritual energy. As long as he is conditioned by the material energy, the Supreme Lord, as his friend, the Supersoul, stays with him just to get him to return to the spiritual energy. The Lord is always eager to take him back to the spiritual energy, but due to his minute independence, the individual entity is continually rejecting the association of spiritual light. This misuse of independence is the cause of his material strife and the conditioned nature. The Lord, therefore, is always giving instruction from within and from without. From without, he gives instructions as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, and from within, he tries to convince him that his activities in the material world are not conducive to real happiness. Just give it up and turn your faith toward me. Then you will be happy, he says. Thus, the intelligent person who places his faith in the Paramatma, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, begins to advance toward a blissful eternal life of knowledge. Text 24. Ya evam veti purusam prakritam cha guna saha sarvatha vartamano pai na sa buyo bijayati. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Clear understanding of material nature, the supersoul, the individual soul, and their interrelation makes one eligible to become liberated and turn to the spiritual atmosphere without being forced to return to this material nature. This is the result of knowledge. The purpose of knowledge is to understand distinctly that the living entity has by chance fallen into this material existence. By his personal endeavor in association with authorities, saintly persons, and a spiritual master, he has to understand his position and then revert to spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness by understanding Bhagavad Gita as it is explained by the personality of Godhead. Then it is certain that he will never come again into this material existence. He will be transferred into the spiritual world for blissful eternal life of knowledge. Text 25. Daya nena tadmani pasyanti kesad atmanam atmana anye sakayene yogina karma yogina karpari. That supersoul is perceived by some through meditation, by some through cultivation of knowledge, and by others through working without fruitive desire. The Lord informs Arjuna that the conditioned soul can be divided into two classes as far as man's search for self-realization is concerned. Those who are atheists, agnostics, or skeptics are beyond the sense of spiritual understanding. But there are those who are faithful in their understanding of spiritual life, and they are called workers who have renounced fruitive work. Those who always try to establish the doctrine of monism are also counted among the atheists and agnostics. In other words, only the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are really capable of spiritual understanding because they understand that beyond this material nature, there is the spiritual world, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is expanded as the Paramatma, the super soul in everyone, the all-pervading Godhead. Of course, there are those who try to understand the supreme absolute truth by cultivation of knowledge, and they can be counted in the second class. The atheist philosophers analyze this material world into 24 elements, and they place the individual soul as the 25th item. When they are able to understand the nature of the individual soul to be transcendental to the material elements, they are able to understand also that above the individual soul there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the 26th element. Thus, gradually they also come to the standard of devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Those who work without fruitive results are also perfect in their attitude. They are given a chance to advance to the platform of devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Here it is stated that there are some people who are pure in consciousness and who try, and who try to find out the super soul by meditation. And when they discover the super soul within themselves, they become transcendently situated. Similarly, there are others who also try to understand the Supreme Soul by cultivation of knowledge, and there are others who cultivate the Hatha Yoga system and who try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by childish activities. Text 26. Anye te evam ajna anta svrvanye beya upasati te pai kat it ranti eva mrityum sruti pariyana. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. This verse is particularly applicable to modern society because in modern society, there is practically no education in spiritual matters. Some of the people may appear to be atheist or agnostic or philosophical, but there is actually no knowledge of philosophy. As for the common man, if he is a good soul, then there is a chance for advancement by hearing. This hearing process is very important. Lord Chaitanya, who preached Krishna consciousness in the modern world, gave great stress to hearing because if the common man simply hears from authoritative sources, he can progress, especially according to Lord Chaitanya, if he hears the transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is stated, therefore, that all men should take advantage of hearing from realized souls and gradually become able to understand everything. The worship of the Supreme Lord will then undoubtedly take place. Lord Chaitanya has said that in this age, no one needs to change his position, but one should give up the endeavor to understand the absolute truth by speculative reasoning. One should learn to become the servant of those who are in knowledge of the Supreme Lord. If one is fortunate enough to take shelter of a pure devotee, hear from him about self-realization, and follow in his footsteps, he will be gradually elevated to the position of a pure devotee. In this verse particularly, the process of hearing is strongly recommended, and this is very appropriate. Although the common man is often not as capable as so-called philosophers, faithful hearing from authoritative person will help one transcend this material existence and go back to Godhead, go back to home. Text 27. Yavat sanjati kinsit sattvam satarvara jagamam kestra ajna samyagat had vidi varatara abba. O chief of the Bharatas, whatever you see in existence, both moving and unmoving, is the only combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. Both material nature and the living entity, which were existing before the creation of the cosmos, are explained in this verse. Whatever is created is but a combination of the living entity and material nature. There are many manifestations like trees, mountains, and hills, which are not moving, and there are many existences which are moving, and all of them are but combinations of material nature and superior nature, the living entity. Without the touch of the superior nature, the living entity, nothing can grow. Therefore, the relationship between matter and nature is eternally going on, and this combination is affected by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the controller of both the. Oh, the last 2 days reading makes me yawn. He is in the controller of both the superior and inferior natures. The material nature is created by him, and the superior nature is placed in this material nature, and thus all activities and manifestations take place. Text 28. Samam sarvesu bhutesu tistatim paramesvaram vina sayatus avina yatam ya pasyate sa pasyate. One who sees the supersoul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the supersoul is ever destroyed, actually sees. Anyone who can see three things, the body, the proprietor of the body, or individual soul, and the friend of the individual soul, combined together with the good association, is actually in knowledge. Those who are not associated with the soul's friend are ignorant. They simply see the body, and when the body is destroyed, they think that everything is finished. But actually, it is not so. After the destruction of the body, both the soul and the supersoul exist, and they go on eternally as many various moving and unmoving forms. The Sanskrit word paramesvaram is sometimes translated as the individual soul because the soul is the master of the body. And after the destruction of the body, he transferred to another form. In that way, he is master. But there are others who interpret this paramesvaram to be the super soul. In either case, both the super soul and the individual soul continue. They are not destroyed. One who can see in this way can actually see what is happening. And pause. You okay, Domenica? Is your back hurting you?
No, I'm just tired.
Oh, you're tired. I left this I left this sadhana yesterday, and I tried to work, and I was like, the depression just like washed right over me yesterday with Shannon's anniversary and creamer and everything.
Yeah.
About 10:30, I was like, I have to go lay down. And I passed out. I wasn't even tired. I passed out till like noon. I didn't even tell work what I was doing. I was just like, I don't care what's going on. And I have been sleeping, so I don't know why I was so tired. But then when I taught last night at the studio, and the two of the students in the room were like, I'm so tired. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Did you sleep last night?
I did, and I slept pretty well too.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't know.
I feel like this is the season we should be. Well, maybe because it's not like sunny beach weather. Maybe this weekend will be nice.
Yeah, all the rain, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's the weather.
That could.
I don't know. Something's going on. I don't know why we're all so tired.
Yeah. Oh, plus, yeah, the grieving and stuff is a lot too.
Yeah, I feel like mentally every year from May 27th to June 3rd, it's just like anticipating it's coming, not knowing how it's going to be. But usually when June 3rd passes, everything lifts and like life goes on again.
Yeah.
There's something about June 3rd that has always been. First, it was like a forced thing. Then I just let it be. But this year without Kramer there, that just added on to it. But
Yeah.
it was okay. It was, I just listened to myself. I let myself cry. I let myself sleep. Whatever it is I wanted to do, and I really wanted to teach, and I was glad I did.
That's
Like,
good.
It wasn't like, oh, why did I do this? When like you sign up for something and you're like, why did I sign up for this?
It's good you taught.
Yeah, it was nice to be in the studio. But now like it's June 4th, so maybe life is going to go on still, but now it's just very different without Kramer still.
Yeah.
But it's not, I'm not as sad. I'm sad, but I'm not like immobile sad. Like the depression isn't there. It's just sadness, not depression.
That's good.
Yeah. Let's see where we left off.
29.
29, wrote it down. Yeah, so there was good stuff today.
Yeah, I like that.
It just keeps bringing me back to my youth, like when I was like, I believe in something, but not what you're teaching me. Like there's something else out there. And it always makes me think of like, so when you grieve, you're not just grieving like what was, you grieve like what could have been, right? Like I don't know if you do this, but
Yep.
like I would have loved to have a relationship, and who knows, maybe me and my sister wouldn't even be talking, but I would imagine that I'm in a place where, and I know now that I can understand this yoga better, I feel like she somehow knew about this yoga, and I would have loved to like have this to bounce off. Like she would have totally been part of this. I could have just seen it. She'd be totally part of the yoga community and reading this Gita with us and doing the physical practice. And then maybe we could have like got my mom on board. I think my mom could have probably been a yogi too. She just didn't know. And it's just, I wish I knew these tools when I was younger.
I know. Yeah, I feel a lot of that lately. Like I wish I knew a lot of this stuff years ago.
Yeah.
Because it
But
helps
I
you
guess it wasn't meant to be.
interact and understand the world a bit better.
Yeah.
For me, it does anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. The whole Catholic thing, I think it was just like too rigid. There wasn't enough flexibility. Some of the teachings had like a good moral, but it was just way too rigid for me anyway.
There was a sentence in here I read, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but I was like, oh my God, that's totally what I feel like other organized religions are doing. It's like, I don't know. I just like the way they approach this.
The other thing I really hated about the Catholic religion is like all the phonies too, like in the church. That would
Yeah, I think that's what the sentence I read, I'm not gonna be able to find it without rereading everything, was referring to. Like, we got to be careful. Like when this Gita is talking about hearing the Gita from an authoritative source, like my trust thing, or my trust flag raises. Like, you got to be careful who you're learning this stuff from.
right.
And I think they said something along the lines of like, you got to be a servant to your authoritative source. And then that right there, like the ego of the human being, unless you have a real authoritative source and not one pretending to be, that person's ego is going to take right over, like, and put himself on the pedestal.
Yeah. I kind of said to myself, like, that's, you serve the person who can teach you how to live a better life.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. All right, so let's do some breath and meditate.
Okay. Let me sit up. I feel so lazy lately, but that's okay.
Well, you might have to. So there's like two things with that. It's like, honor you're lazy, but on the other side, it's like, you have to push yourself. Those are like the hard question. So like maybe you need to do some sun salutation flows, or maybe you need to plank or something. Like, you have to force yourself to move.
Oh yeah, I've been forcing myself to work really hard, to move. I've been riding the bike all week. It feels really good, but like I just feel when I just feel exhausted.
Yeah, something must be going on out there. I'm really proud of myself too because I've been planking every day since Kramer passed away, and I've been walking, and now I'm doing my tape. And I call it my tape, but it's like my on-demand cardio.
Oh,
I even did it yesterday. Like I didn't even let my day excuse me for it. I'm like, you are doing this, and I think that's helping making me stay somewhat balanced too.
yeah, definitely. I think that helps a lot. Something
Yeah, I
with
really
the
want to do.
exercise. Yeah.
The whole program is 21 days, and I've never finished it like from start to finish in 21 days. So it's giving me something to like focus on. Although
Yeah.
I'm already like, why did I sign up? Why did I do this? My legs are so sore. All right. So I think I need to do heart bench today, actually, when I meditate, because my back needs to be open. All right. So we'll sit up nice and tall. Take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Oh, Domenica, that mudra where you put your thumb to your ring finger, like that space in between the knuckle and that part.
Yeah.
This is, I've read and practiced this as a very energizing mudra. So maybe if you can do that, that
Okay.
might help give you some energy. Anyway, so
Right,
you
I'll
feel
try
like,
that.
what?
I'll try it.
Yeah, see if it works for you. Mom Micheline taught me that. And it's in, if you can read about it online. I'll find the link and put it in the chat in the Facebook group. All right, so sit up nice and tall, breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And then bring your right hand over to your face, close the right nostril with the thumb, inhale through the left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Release your palm down. I'm going to take a few rounds of bumblebee breath. So you'll close your ears with the thumbs, peace fingers over the eyes. Inhale and exhale through the nose. As you exhale, you'll create a humming sound at the back of the throat like you were a bumblebee. So take a deep breath in. I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. You settle into your meditation.
Welcome to week 3 of our meditation journey.
Bringing your hand to your heart center. Namaste.
Namaste, Pam.